Hey guys, Easy Eve here. I wanted to record this on my webcam like I usually do, but I can't find my webcam. I just moved to a new place, so I hope this is okay for you guys. But I want to talk about Superman. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. But if this is your first time here, welcome. So Superman. I put the title to this is it better than Man of Steel? And I promise I'll talk about that at the end, but I don't want to bury the lead. So what I'll say is overall, yes, I believe, in my opinion, my humble opinion, it is better than the Man of Steel. But it doesn't mean I hated the Man of Steel. Actually, if you know me, I actually like that movie. And I'll talk about, what I liked about that versus what I liked about this and why I think this one's better. But before we get to that, I just want to talk about this movie first. James Gunn, first real sort of big movie in his new DC universe. And let me talk about some of the things that worked. The number one thing I loved about this movie is actually, the message of the movie, which is it seems it's really like not so significant when I say it, but like when the way they portrayed it in the movie was really well done, is that you are not your legacy, you are not your destiny, you are the choices you make, right? Which seems sort of cliche, but for a Superman movie whose character is on the surface very cliche, but when you get right down to it, he is supposed to be the best of us, the best of humanity. And for someone who is an alien, right, to be more human than, the wealthiest and most powerful of all humans is a really good message. And I just thought the specific scene that got me teared up is underselling it. I was crying like a little baby at that scene. Was when minor spoilers, is when he has a conversation, this is in the trailer kinda, with Pa Kent, and that part got to me, and that was really, it was really about his identity as as someone who's an alien, but also representing the best of humans. That was the best part for me. Other really good parts, actually, this story, the script in itself overall is very well written. I didn't really like opening crawls, which it did, but some of my favorite movies have them. Blade Runner, Star Wars, and this one had it too. And I get why they did it. Nobody wants to see baby Superman's origins again. So this way incorporated it very well, but at the same time it did kind of cheat a bit, because it's sort of you start sort of like in the middle of a conflict which was explained in text. So that was maybe something that was a bit meh for me, but it still worked for the movie. The two biggest things also that I thought made this movie great, from good to great, is actually David Corenswet, and Nicholas Hoult. And Rachel Brosnahan's good too. I'm a really big fan of Wonderful Mrs. Maisel. I think that was the show. Yeah, so I knew how good she was coming into this. And of course, everybody knows Nicholas Hoult, and he really carried the whole movie. He brought the movie a lot of gravitas for something that's very sort of semi-campy, whimsical compared to the most recent Superman adaptations, and very comic-y, whatever that means. He brought a lot of gravitas to that, and his Lex Luthor was ruthless. It reminded me of like, and I mean this the good way, the front man in Squid Game, sorta. Just a really ruthless and very, very much a bad guy and antagonist that levels out Superman, because of who he is. And of course David Corenswet as Superman is, people will compare him a lot to Christopher Reeves. He doesn't play Clark Kent nor Superman like Christopher Reeves to me. I think he just plays it as Superman as best as he can, and it really does work. It really does work. So that was a really good thing. Some of the things that I didn't like so much maybe was, I mean, I don't want to say CGI slop, because it does look really great, and it doesn't look like what it looks like in the trailers, those like Rubberman sort of CGIs. It does look really good in the movie itself. It's just, you know, it's not so much the CGI of the fights itself. It's almost like the setting, the settings that they take place in. It's always like in some random, I don't want to spoil too much, but like some random place that's just, the background is just all CGI, and nothing's really practical except for like the acting and the expressions of the characters. But you know, it is a Superman movie, so I'm not really complaining about that. It's just not my favorite parts of the movie. And the other thing that wasn't my favorite part was, I'm not saying I hate it, it's just, and it's not the characters either, because everybody played them well. It's just the journalism storyline of it was very conventional and very, of course they like figure out what Lex Luthor's master plan really is, which wasn't really a secret throughout the whole movie. It's just they figured it out, which allowed Superman a way out, sort of say, by the end. That one was very much like conventional, formulaic B plot line, which was not my favorite, but it was still good, executed well. I should say though that the geopolitics in this movie, me, you know, everybody, people know me, I'm very, you know, left-leaning as far as political views go. Not that it matters for this video, but this movie is definitely that, and it very much reflects some geopolitical conflicts that's happening in the world right now, and it's not very subtle. And I'm not, this is not a political channel or anything, but I will say it's not subtle at all. So that is one of my favorite parts of the movie as well. But yeah, I'm curious to think what you guys think about that. So comic books and superheroes have always been very political to me. So I mean, not to me, but they have been. They're always telling a story about satirically or sort of hyper exaggerated sort of situations that are happening in the real world, like Watchmen in the 80s, X-Men in the 60s, 70s, you know, with civil rights, and Superman. And Superman is not alien to that. No pun intended. Pun intended. Superman is an immigrant story. And that's what it is. And people cannot see past that, his identity as that. No matter how much good he does, people just cannot get past it. They don't see him as part of themselves. But the truth is, he has more humanity in his little pinky than human beings, right? So that's the whole thing about Superman, and this movie did it really well. If I had to give this movie a rating, I hate ratings, but I'll do it because I do have like Letterboxd. But I'll do it. It's like this: 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'm gonna settle with an 8 out of 10 as a movie out of 10. But on my Letterboxd, I think, I don't know. I tend to have a different, for some reason I have like a different rating system for out of 10 and out of 5s. I don't know if that makes sense to some people, but yeah, I think it's a solid 8 out of 10. But I think on Letterboxd, I think it deserves a 9.5 out of 5, 9.5, 4.5 out of 5. And I know that doesn't really make sense, but yeah, I like to give movies the benefit of the doubt, because I do think I'm gonna like this movie better the more I watch it. And there are some things in here that I just really love, and that of what they did in terms of the messaging and how brave it was, that I sort of want to give it a higher score publicly than what I actually think it is. And I'll explain too why I think what I think. The first hour of it also was very, like, I don't want to say not well edited. The pacing was just so, I could snap my fingers to the tempo. It was very much so generic, but it gets better throughout the movie, gets more and more progresses more and more, and it ends up ending really, really well. Very, very heavy and emotional. Overall, you should see in theaters. And yeah, I can't wait to see more Superman with these characters. I really do. I was really excited, and to me that's actually very high rating for me, because like, you know, a 10 out of 10 for me, or a 5 out of 5, or even a 4.5 out of 5 is like the best movies ever, right? That has ever come out, and that has continued to be great throughout time. I have rarely ever given movies that I've just seen high ratings. I usually give it to them much later, and this movie has the potential to really grow on me. I haven't seen it again. I mean, I'll watch it again when it comes out on video, on streaming, so you never know. Back to my comparison with Man of Steel. I liked about Man of Steel before, I really liked, it was sort of new, it was darker, we all know that, but I really liked the action sequences in Man of Steel. I really thought that they were more unique. This one is a little bit, like, all the action sequences for Superman was really great. Is very James Gunn coded. Like, it's like if he made a fourth Guardian movie, the action sequences would probably be like this, right? So, and it doesn't mean it's not great. I just really like the way they portrayed the powers in Man of Steel. I really like the aesthetics of Man of Steel, which shouldn't really surprise people, because Zack Snyder is very much like an artist in terms of like his aesthetics. He's very much a visual artist first, whereas James Gunn is a screenwriter first. He's a writer, right? But I think with Zack Snyder, he's a visual artist first. And I really like the suit. I was a fan of Henry Cavill, but it doesn't, admittedly, it doesn't really work plot wise. It's dissonant with like the Superman of the comics, or the Superman that we know, right? So that's where it sort of falters in terms of Man of Steel, which is why I think this new Superman, I like it better overall. With Superman, despite like the action sequences were still great, and they had more weight to them because of the story, if that makes sense. Like, I cared more with this movie's action sequences because they made sense with the plot, whereas in Man of Steel it's almost like he's saving the world because he has to save the world, but his decisions didn't really make sense. Whereas here, it's even those fight scenes in this movie, Superman's personality affects how these fights go. It's not just who's stronger than the other one, but like you'll see what I mean when you see the Justice Gang come in and how they handle the fights versus how Superman handles those fights, and they really do them differently, and which differentiates Superman even from the good guy heroes. So it really is really good in that sense, and I think you guys should watch it if you're a big Zack Snyder fan. For, you know, I give this one a chance too, because we're all just Superman fans at the end of the day. So yeah, that's my review. I had a lot more to say, but I can't really think of it right now, and this is already long enough. So I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. Thanks for watching if you're still here, and go ahead, hit like, subscribe. Free for you guys, but it helps me out a lot. I mean, yeah, and I'll make more videos as much as I can in the future. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm using my phone. I hope I can transfer this to the computer soon through my cloud, because I'm not doing it directly off my webcam. Yeah, sorry if this video is a little late. Anyways, peace out. Take it easy.